right. So let's dive into this world where, like, spreadsheets are a crime scene.
Okay.
And financial statements are the clues.
Right.
We're talking about financial audits in clinical trials.
Yeah.
And we have this source, Audit Adventures. Why financial audits are the detective work you didn't know you needed.
Right.
And it's painting this like fascinating picture of this
Yeah.
often overlooked
Yeah.
but critical aspect of research.
Yeah, it might not sound as exciting as like Sherlock Holmes at first glance, but but the implications of a really thorough financial audit can be just as dramatic, especially when you're dealing with the complexities and the high stakes of clinical trials.
So, okay, before we get into the nitty-gritty,
Sure.
set the scene for us.
Okay.
Why are these financial audits so crucial in the world of clinical trials?
Well, imagine this. You're running an oncology trial, and the estimated cost is upwards of $100 million.
Okay.
Now, a seemingly small discrepancy, even just 1%, translates to a whopping $1 million.
Wow.
Suddenly, those like minor accounting errors don't seem so minor anymore.
That's $1 million that could have been used for additional research patient care or even another trial.
Absolutely.
It really highlights the impact of even the smallest financial misstep.
Exactly. And that's why regular audits are like preventative medicine for clinical trials' financial health.
Right.
They help us detect and address these variances early on before they snowball into these major setbacks.
So it's about making sure every dollar is accounted for and used responsibly, maximizing the impact of these often resource-intensive trials.
Precisely. It ensures transparency, accountability, and ultimately the integrity of the research itself.
Now, speaking of accountability, let's talk about the elephant in the room, fraud.
Yeah.
Our source material emphasizes the role of audits in preventing and detecting financial misconduct.
Right.
Can you elaborate on that?
Absolutely. Audits act as both a deterrent and a detection tool.
Okay.
Think of it like having a security camera. Just knowing it's there can discourage bad behavior.
Right.
And if something does happen, the audit trail helps us uncover the details and take appropriate action.
So what kind of fraudulent activities are we talking about here?
Well, our source mentions duplicate payments, where someone might try to submit the same invoice twice, hoping it slips through the cracks. Another common issue is unauthorized expenses. Things that aren't actually related to the trial, but are disguised as legitimate costs.
That makes sense. So we're talking about anything from fabricated invoices to someone trying to sneak in like personal expenses as research-related costs.
Audits help us identify those inconsistencies and make sure every dollar is being used ethically and for its intended purpose.
So it's about safeguarding the research, ensuring the money is being used appropriately, and preventing anyone from taking advantage of the system for personal gain.
It's about protecting the integrity of the research and the trust that the public places in these trials.
But let's be honest, the word audit doesn't exactly evoke feelings of excitement or joy.
Right.
Many people view them as like tedious, bureaucratic processes.
Yeah, I agree.
How can we change that perception?
That's a great point. I think it's about reframing the narrative.
Okay.
Instead of viewing audits as a burden, we should see them as an opportunity for continuous improvement.
Okay.
They help us identify areas where we can refine our financial processes, optimize resource allocation, and ultimately conduct more efficient and impactful trials.
So it's about shifting the focus from catching errors to proactively improving financial management.
Precisely. When done well, audits can be a really powerful tool for streamlining operations and building a culture of transparency and financial responsibility.
Yeah.
It's about ensuring the long-term success and sustainability of clinical research.
Okay. That's starting to sound a lot less daunting and a lot more like a strategic advantage.
Exactly. And as technology continues to evolve, audits are becoming even more streamlined and insightful.
Okay.
There are software programs that can automate many of the tasks, identify potential red flags, and even generate reports, freeing up your team to focus on strategic analysis and decision-making.
That sounds promising. But before we delve deeper into the tech side of things, let's talk about the human element.
Yeah, even with all the advancements in technology, the human element remains super critical in the auditing process.
Okay.
It's those skilled financial professionals who can like interpret the data, connect the dots, and make these informed judgments based on their experience and their understanding of that specific trial.
So it's not about replacing human auditors with robots, but rather giving them the best tools to do their job.
Exactly, more effectively.
Think of it as a partnership.
Okay.
Where technology helps us handle the heavy lifting of data analysis.
While humans provide the critical thinking, the intuition, and the ethical considerations that are essential for making sound decisions.
It's that human touch that can spot a red flag
that
an algorithm might miss.
Yes.
Or understand the nuances of a particular situation that goes beyond just numbers on a spreadsheet.
Precisely. And that brings us to another crucial aspect of successful audits. Clear communication and reporting mechanisms.
So it's not enough to just find the clues you need to know who to share them with and what actions need to be taken based on those findings.
Absolutely. Having a well-defined reporting structure ensures that any potential issues are addressed swiftly and efficiently. This might involve notifying relevant stakeholders, conducting further investigations, or implementing corrective measures to prevent similar issues from happening again.
It sounds like this whole audit process is really about fostering a culture of transparency and accountability, not just within the finance team, but throughout the entire clinical trial.
That's a key point. When everyone involved in the trial understands that financial activities are being regularly scrutinized and that there's a clear process for addressing any discrepancies, it creates a sense of shared responsibility and encourages ethical behavior across the board.
It's almost like having a built-in financial conscience for the entire trial.
Exactly.
Making sure everything stays on track and everyone is held to the highest standards. But I imagine this whole process can still feel a bit daunting. Especially for researchers who may not have a deep understanding of financial management.
I understand that perspective, but it's important to remember that audits are ultimately about supporting the success of the clinical trial. They're not about pointing fingers or creating a culture of fear.
So it's more about peace of mind than policing.
Exactly. Think of it as a quality control check. Similar to making sure a recipe is followed correctly. To ensure the best possible outcome. When everything's in order, it provides a sense of confidence and assurance that the trial is being conducted with financial integrity and efficiency.
Okay, I'm starting to see the positive side of things.
Good.
It's like that feeling of satisfaction when you finally organize a messy closet.
Yes.
A little bit of effort up front leads to a much more organized and ultimately more enjoyable experience in the long run.
I like that analogy. Speaking of the future, let's talk about how technology is shaping the landscape of financial audits and clinical trials.
This is where it gets really exciting.
Yeah.
We've touched on the role of software in automating tasks and analyzing data.
Right.
But what other advancements are on the horizon?
Well, we're already seeing the integration of artificial intelligence and machine learning in audit processes.
Okay.
These technologies can sift through mountains of data at lightning speed.
Wow. Identifying patterns and anomalies that might escape the human eye.
So it's like having a superpowered detective by your side, able to process information at an incredible pace and spot those subtle clues that could be easily overlooked.
Precisely. But even with all these advancements, we need to remember that technology is a tool, not a replacement for human judgment.
It's about finding the right balance between leveraging the power of technology and maintaining the critical thinking and ethical considerations that are uniquely human.
Exactly. And who knows what other innovations await us? We might see the emergence of real-time auditing, where transactions are monitored and flagged as they occur, preventing issues before they even arise.
That sounds incredibly futuristic. Imagine the level of transparency and accountability that would create. Almost like having a constant financial guardian watching over the trial.
It's a fascinating glimpse into the future of auditing.
It's an exciting time to be in this field, and I'm eager to see how technology continues to shape the way we approach financial oversight in clinical trials.
It sounds like the future of audits is going to be a dynamic interplay of cutting-edge technology and human expertise, working together to ensure the integrity and success of clinical trials.
And as we wrap up our deep dive into Audit Adventures, I think it's crucial to highlight the key takeaways for our listeners today.
Let's bring it all together and leave our audience with some valuable insights. So what are the key takeaways for our listeners today? What do we want them to remember about the world of financial audits in clinical trials?
Well, I think the biggest takeaway is that audits aren't just about catching errors or preventing fraud, although those are important aspects.
Yeah.
They're ultimately about ensuring the integrity, the transparency, and the success of the clinical trial as a whole.
It's about proactive financial management, not reactive damage control.
Yeah. Exactly. And as technology continues to evolve, we are going to see even more innovative and efficient ways to approach audits, making them more insightful and valuable than ever before.
It really does sound like an exciting time to be a financial detective in the world of clinical trials.
Yes, it is.
So to wrap things up, is there a final thought you want to leave our listeners with, something to ponder as they continue their own audit adventures?
Absolutely. As we move towards a future with increasingly sophisticated technology and complex trials, I think it's important to remember the vital role of human intuition and ethical judgment in the audit process.
Technology can analyze data and spot patterns,
Yeah.
but it's ultimately up to us, the humans, to interpret those findings
Right.
and make decisions based on not just numbers, but also on principles of integrity and responsibility.
It's a powerful reminder that even in a data-driven world, human insight and ethical considerations remain absolutely essential.
And on that note, we'll wrap up our deep dive into the world of audit adventures. Thanks for joining us. And remember, keep your financial magnifying glass handy, because you never know what fascinating insights you might uncover.